And joining us now, as she always does at this time on a Monday, is the editor and publisher and the one who is in charge of everything over at the RCBizJournal.com website. It's the Rockland County Business Journal. Editor Tina Traster. Good morning, Tina. How are you?
I am well. A very good morning to everybody over there. How is everybody?
We're good. We're good.
Good.
Got lots going on here in the county that we love talking about.
Okay, I'm going to blow your socks off.
No, my goodness, I like my socks where they are, but go ahead, try.
No. So Rockland County has put out an RFP, request for proposal, to hire a firm to promote tourism for the county. This is interesting, and we're going to talk about tourism from a few different perspectives today. The bids were due on September 15th, so that was last, Friday, and we will see what firm ultimately gets chosen. Rockland County, has been focused, especially since 2014, on trying to really maximize the tourism assets that are here in the county. And as you, I'm sure, know, every year they give out a bunch of tourism grants. The monies that are spent on tourism here have saved the average taxpayer in 2022 about $422 in property taxes. That is down from $585 in 2021 and from $555 from 2019. But it is still something, $422 extra that you might have to shell out in your taxes, but for the revenue that tourism generates in the county. So, like I just said, now the county is looking to hire a firm to promote tourism for Rockland to be the, quote, gateway to the Hudson Valley region, and that makes sense. We are the county right over the Mario Cuomo Bridge, and so that makes sense. But what also makes sense, and this is the segue that I want to discuss, is the county can, distribute these kinds of funds. The county can hire someone to promote tourism, but ultimately, this is it really boils down to the villages and the municipalities to understand what they have to offer and to do something about that. And I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about Piermont right now, because over the weekend, Piermont had a really spectacular day on Saturday. At noon, they unveiled a statue of a fallen firefighter whose name was Thomas Pomplin, whose death in 1854 was the first recorded in the line of duty death in the fire service in Rockland County. He was an African-American gentleman, and the statue was erected in Flywheel Park on Saturday. It's a really beautiful, haunting kind of statue.
I was there. It actually was quite touching, the ceremony itself, and the statue is very unique, kind of a knockout-looking thing. It was very nice.
I know. It's very, 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 haunting. Is the word.
Yeah.
And then later in the day, I attended the ceremony later in the day. The village, and here's the key, the Historic Society had worked hand in hand with the chamber. And this is about an 18-month effort that was finally unveiled, where they have 8 permanent panels right smack in the center of Piermont at Gare Memorial Park that tell the story of Piermont's role as a river village, a railroad town, and a stop on the New York and Erie Railroad. And everything about the display just pulls together, a relevance for Piermont, and gives it a focal point and a reason for tourists to come and sort of start with this historic attraction and then kind of fan out to the villages. Many restaurants. We did a story not that long ago about 4 restaurants opening, and 3 of the 4 so far have. To the river, the parks. These are the drivers. Tourism doesn't just happen. And as much as we have to offer here, it takes a really concerted effort to take the assets and to tie them together and to give them a sort of prominence so that this firm that eventually gets hired, I suppose, will understand how to use these assets to really put Rockland on the map and not have it be a drive-through county, and for tourists to come up here. I mean, I believe, if this is still correct, the number one tourist attraction here is the Palisades Mall. And, nothing against the Palisades Mall, but we have more things than that here that we can promote. Plus, I'm pretty sure that if someone's coming up here for the Palisades Mall, they're not likely to go to the villages or the towns to eat or to shop, clearly, or to take advantage of all of the beautiful outdoor recreation that we have in the county. So this was the day in Piermont. To me, it really spoke of what other villages should take a page and look at something like this, tying together history, and even you have to see the display, but it's so tastefully done, it's so beautifully done. Even like the wooden structures that hold the panels, it just seems like it was really done with a lot of love and care. Again, with the chamber working in combination with the Historical Society, which is a very critical, it's very critical for chambers to work with historical societies, because people want that when they travel. They come up here, they get a feeling of a rural place, a place that retains its history. People drive around, they look at the old houses, it evokes the past, and if there are historical, lessons to be woven into the experience, I think that's a real driver for tourism. So, yeah, I mean, you were down there, and you probably got the sense of it too when you were down there for the unveiling of the statue, right?
Yeah, well, that area has a lot of history in and of itself, even beforehand. Which is, you look left, you look right, you look north and south. I mean, every direction you look, there's history in that area. But to put the memorial the way they did, right in the center of Flywheel Park, and even just the view I had of it at the time, because it's sort of a silhouette of Mr. Pomplin on a black framing kind of a thing. And when I was looking at it, there were a bunch of firefighters standing about 50 feet behind it. So his silhouette outlined another firefighter of today, and that person's body was kind of within the shape that was outlined for Thomas Pomplin, and it was very eerie looking. That his face was a person's live face was peering through it at me at that very moment. It was very surreal. Yeah. And it's a very touching. The story itself, is a guy who probably, like they said, wasn't appreciated in his own time, and died a couple of days later, and probably didn't even realize they didn't even know he was sick. He was probably at home and weren't really. He was being cared for by his mother, probably is what they assume, and wasn't honored in his time. But a historical right has been wronged, and that's very touching.
It is.
A historical wrong has been righted, I should say.
Yeah, and it just it puts an emotional focal point right in the middle of a village.
Yeah, but it also shows it's not meant to be a slight to those who came before us. No, that's not the point. The point is that, look, here's a guy who just deserved some respect, and we're going to give it to him, and that's what this village is all about. So, while you're there, enjoy our parks, enjoy the river, enjoy our shops and other things while you're here, but also appreciate our history.
Right, and I think when villages are successful at tying those elements together, they really enhance the ability to be a tourism target, especially when it's done like in an intimate way like this. So every corner of Rockland County, in a sense, has some opportunity to think about that. Yes, Piermont does have a very advantageous setting. It's so very beautiful. True, but we have history throughout this county.
No doubt.
And there are places that really can be, I guess, tied in better. Used as examples, of what this county was really about. I mean, just one last thing was on Saturday evening, the Rockland Farm Alliance. We did a story on the Rockland Farm Alliance. I think I might have spoken about it last week on the radio, so they had a fundraising dinner for their Project Green program, which is essentially they've given this year 1,000 pounds of produce to 8 organizations that need food, and so they had a dinner out on that property on Saturday night, and the white tables were set up amidst the goats that were grazing and the refurbished Cropsey barn. And now the organization is essentially being taken over by Sue Ferreri, and we did a good, fun profile on her. Check it out. But the John McDowell, who founded the farm, also got up and spoke, and he talked about how this might have just become, houses. That that it was hard for the county so many years ago, 20 years ago, to envision preserving a farm and getting behind this sort of effort. And thank God, for people like John McDowell who pursued this crazy dream. And today, we have this precious farming operation, in the middle of New City.
Certainly a throwback to the old days of Rockland County, which we're going to do just a minute from now when we hear from Claire Sheridan of the Rockland Historical Society for Crossroads of Rockland County. So, Tina, I thank you for joining us as always. We'll talk to you again. Well, we'll talk to you again on Monday, as I will not be here for Monday.
Okay. Well, I hope you're going somewhere fun.
I'm not, but I'm going somewhere sacred. It'll be Temple. I'll be in Temple.
Oh, is it? Oh, is
Rosh
it?
Hashanah.
Oh, I should take the day off too, but
no judgment. I don't. Everyone does what they want to do.
Jeff's off. Naomi Stryker's off. Go ahead. It'll just be me and whoever's left.
All right. Then I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
All right. Very good.
Catch you later.
Right.
Bye, Tina.
Bye.